Hello and welcome back to what is now the penultimate installment of the Snake Crane Wing Chun series. Before we get into today's breakdown, I'd like to address some points that were raised during some private correspondence between me and certain individuals who prefer I didn't share the truth with you all. One of the main challenges that were posed to me was that why should they or anyone believe my word over the other groups, Snake, Wayne, etc. Well, the answer is simple really. It's not about believing me personally, rather it's about following the evidence and applying logic and seeing what holds up under scrutiny. People, you guys, are recognizing the inconsistencies, the fabrications and the contradictions for yourselves. And as certain individuals' lies and claims have come into light, it naturally calls every one of their other claims into question. With that, let's return to the person that Wayne and Snake have repeatedly cited as their point of contact, Mr. Tam himself. It's time to let him address the remaining claims that have been circulated in his name.
唔一定，因為蛇學詠春只不過係詠春入邊嘅一個分支，唔代表佛山。因為你梁贊詠春同蛇學詠春就完全唔同祖師嘅個流派唔同，咁何來有相同呢？呢個肯定唔成立嘅，呢個我可以作出好肯定嘅定，肯定唔成立嘅。 所有詠春都講有蛇形同鶴形，都講同蛇同鶴相鬥嘅故事，但係到底係邊一家先至係蛇形同鶴形有好多手法表現呢？每家每派都唔一樣。咁亦唔代表佢家係冇蛇殼，佢同蛇殼有咩關係？呢、個只不過係蛇殼詠春，只不過係佛山詠春中嘅一家。 唔成立嘅，即係超喺出邊點聽到，我哋呢度又唔知道啦。佛山有佛山嘅詠春，香港有香港嘅詠春。雖然大家同一個祖師，打嘅拳亦一樣，大家出嘅手法可能講嘅要點都一樣，但佢哋嘅祖師同我哋嘅祖師畢竟都係有分別㗎嘛。呢個學説係唔成立嘅。 詠春，因為每個門派，梁贊嘅詠春到蛇學嘅詠春，或者到爬花蓮嘅詠春，佢哋國家有國家嘅理論，佢唔一定每家都一定要去刺殺，要去暗殺㗎嘛。呢個我從來未聽過。 我肯定唔會講呢啲嘢，佢哋點講係佢哋問題，但係你話係我講嘅，我就肯定可以代表我自己，我係冇講嘅。睇過我亦唔知道，肯定唔係我講。
There you have it. So let's round this up. We asked Mr. Tam whether all the three-form Wing Chun styles came from Snake Crane Wing Chun. Tam says, false. Is the UK Sand style referred to by themselves or others as Snake Crane Wing Chun? Tam says false. Did Wing Chun Kun originate from a weapon style? Tam says false. Taan, Bong, Fook only insisted in Wing Chun Kun post-1993. Tam says false. And finally, did Pau Fau Lin call themselves Snake Crane Wing Chun? Tam says no, no, no. Not to single Wayne out, let us also not forget about a certain someone whose idea of Erme and other associated theories were apparently substantiated by Mr. Tam and those at the Foshan Museum.
我都唔識，我未12宗點研究啫？我就喺詠春入邊做研究，詠春之外嘅好多嘢我都空白嘅。我又未聽得到，因為我自己知我自己嘅嘢，人哋嘅我又唔知道。
I mean, you can't really get clearer than that, although I'm sure you'll be asked to not believe your lying eyes and ears. During my time collating and presenting the information within this series, Wayne and his supporters have repeatedly tried to discredit me and my findings. Their main argument has been that I have no right to speak on matters of the Mun. According to them, any information gathered from former members such as Mok or any of Law Sifu's other disciples automatically delegitimizes my research, as anybody who has left the Mun has lost all right and authority to talk about it, as if leaving any organization results in your memory and experiences just poof, being erased from your mind. In an attempt to drive this point home, Wayne delights in waving around Mok's resignation letter from the Snake Crane Wing Chun organization. However, it cannot negate the skills and knowledge Mok Sifu has gathered over the years studying under Law Sifu, nor can it override the logic and evidence, especially when you consider the following. If Wayne's argument is that anybody who leaves the Mun has no right or authority to speak about the happenings of Snake Crane Wing Chun, then he has a serious problem, because here's Wayne's own letter of resignation from the Snake Crane Wing Chun organization. And just to be clear, this isn't me leaking any kind of private correspondence, unlike certain other people. This letter is already in public domain. I'm simply putting it back into this conversation where it belongs. This letter of resignation was sent by email to Law Sifu's daughter on March the 9th, 2011, and it is titled, "Tell your father that your brother, Wayne, is leaving." I'll post a letter somewhere so you guys can read the entire thing, but let's just go through some pertinent parts of it so you can just see the hypocrisy for yourself. Wayne and his cohorts repeatedly claimed that he was given the position in the Snake Crane Wing Chun Athletic Association due to his skill or his seniority. However, the letter reveals the truth of the situation. Him being bestowed this position had nothing to do with his skill, seniority, or even his relationship with Law Sifu. In fact, it was more contingent around his connections in the martial arts community and his ability to speak in English, in his own words. Despite his constant claims that Law Sifu was retired and not to be disturbed, Wayne admits a critical fact. Law Sifu, along with some of his other disciples, went on to create their own Snake Crane Wing Chun Association entirely independent of Wayne. So this raises an interesting question. How exactly can Wayne claim to be the head of the legitimate Snake Crane Wing Chun organization when his own Sifu established a separate one? Think about it. How many of the other disciples and students decided to remain under Wayne's organization when he was running it? I'll give you a guess. Wayne has also insisted that the Snake Crane Wing Chun system and the Mun be kept secret, and that was at the behest of his Sifu. Yet, in the same letter, he writes, most hilariously of all, after resigning, Wayne decided to open his own Snake Crane Wing Chun organization known as the Wayne Yung Snake Crane Wing Chun organization, a venture that promptly failed and had him returning back to the original one. So just to clarify this interesting sequence of events, Wayne wrote a letter of resignation to Law Sifu, leaving the Snake Crane Wing Chun Association. He went on to open his own Snake Crane Wing Chun organization. Not to mention, he publicly disrespected his teacher, Now I'm sure this series of events has you all asking the same question. Isn't this the same exact actions that Wayne has repeatedly used to delegitimize, mock and others, stating that they have no business speaking about the Mun's affairs and Snake Crane Wing Chun as a whole? Well, by his own standard, neither does he. I mean, the hypocrisy is staggering. When the conversation becomes challenging for Wayne and his narrative is crushed under the weight of critical analysis, he routinely attempts to appeal to the audience via emotional manipulation, usually in the guise of Chinese culture and ethics, insisting that I or other people who have dared to challenge him know nothing about this. However, this same individual disrespects his Sifu by insisting that he has some kind of cognitive decline and also insulting him, as is evidenced in his letter. All the while, he continues to spread misinformation every time one of the episodes in this series is released. With all of that said, the next video will be the last in the Snake Crane Wing Chun Exposed series, and we'll finally be going over the notes and addressing many of the claims, including who wrote them, some of the main things that are written within, and addressing whether or not they are in fact the oldest Wing Chun notes and documents in existence. See you in the next one.